Can you imagine of a tremendous heat wave killing thousands of wildlife in a day? And yes, it is true. This is what is blob. Now, this has been a recurrent phenomena across the globe since 2010. If we look onto the parts or closer to the regions of Australia, closer to the regions of the America in the Pacific, and then regions closer to Canada, and then the Mediterranean region, all of those regions have been significantly affected by the marine heat waves. However, since 2013, the sequence in which these marine heat waves have been coming have been increasing constantly. There have been a lot of irregular movements that have been seen, and a huge amount of warm water has started to form in the Pacific. It started back in 2013, and in 2019 it was considered at a record high, where some of the peak temperatures were nearly 10 °F and more that were recorded, and this in line killed nearly more than 65,000 murres that were present in these regions. Now these murres are a source of food for the larger fishes, for example cod, salmon. What happens for these fishes actually is, since they are cold blooded animals and there is such a huge amount of warm water that is present, it enhances their metabolic rate, and they start or they need to consume more in order to survive. But since their prey, which is murres, have been vanishing off because of these heat waves, the larger fishes also start to decline because they do not get the food in the same quantity that they require in the warm waters. So again, this is one of the basic reasons where you have an ample of wildlife, sea life basically, that is being affected. The regions of Washington, going southwards to Oregon, going southwards to California, and in the north Alaska are the four regions. So you have Alaska, Washington, Oregon, and California are the regions which are badly affected. The coastal areas at the Pacific are badly affected. Also, the water quality, the nutrients, they start to decline, and the declining nutrients affects the quality. Now, why all this happens? What is the real reason behind this? If we compare the 2014 versus 2019 imageries for the Pacific area, we can see the regions which are dark in color have been growing further dark in 2019. And what is the reason that is attributed to this dark color is, that means the temperature in these regions have been further swelling up. Now, what are the causes for this? One of the very basic causes, there is lack of air movement in the upper atmosphere. So you have the water surface and the air, the atmosphere above. If there is lack of air movement in the upper atmosphere, it would start to create more heat within the water surface that is present. Also, the rate at which the water is being lost from the sea is very less, and therefore this again creates a higher temperature in the water bodies. Again, the upper layers of the water are relatively static, and when they are relatively static, you have lower than the usual amount of water circulation that takes place, which is again responsible for higher temperatures in those regions. And because of these, you have a kind of vicious cycle where year by year the temperature rises at a farther pace. Now, definitely this has its inbuilt implications. First of all is the murres are affected. Now, since the murres are killed in large number, that would affect the larger fishes. Now, the larger fishes that would be affected would affect the marine ecosystem. So, the fishes get starved of the food. These large fishes do not get ample of food in the forms of murres, and therefore they start to die. They are no more able to survive. Again, since they are cold blooded, as we said, they require more food in order to process their metabolic activities in warm waters, and as a result, this warm water, they require more food and there is lack of food. So there is higher competition among the fishes in order to survive, and then you have the survival of the best ultimately, or survival of the fittest that we say. So most of the species get hit by this reason, and therefore we say blob has become one of the major topics when it comes to climate change, when it comes to the heating of the waters, mainly in the regions of Pacific. We will be covering many more interesting topics related to environment. Stay tuned. Have a wonderful day ahead.